What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction video. Was the Ambani wedding a genius strategy or just a show of extravagance? Here we are with a detailed analysis, but before we can dive into that analysis, if you guys happen to enjoy the video, please don't forget to subscribe or hit that like button. Also, if you'd like to become a member if you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, there's a link in the description section. Once you sign up, you'll receive exclusive benefits that I know you guys will enjoy. Let's dive right in.
Hi everybody, the Ambanis just had a blast with perhaps the most expensive wedding in Indian history.
Extravagant wedding of Anant Ambani.
It's a wedding unlike anything we've seen before.
So the wedding happened. It happened. We might have to check out a video of the wedding because we had reacted to a video not too long ago talking about what the price of this wedding was gonna be. And how it was gonna be the richest wedding, like I think ever. Am I correct?
And while the entire nation is trying to contemplate the scale and opulence of the Ambanis, there are two schools of contrasting thoughts that have emerged all across the country. While on one side there is a segment that believes that it is a complete waste of money and the Ambanis are setting the wrong example.
You have wealth, but yeah, we get it, you have wealth. That's it. Like, there's no need to show off that much.
They're doing way too much. I think now they're just showing off.
On the other side, there is just absolute appreciation and astonishment for the sheer scale and opulence of the wedding because they see it as a testament to the Indian ambition and achievement.
The opulent wedding of the son of India's richest man.
Asia's richest man.
Asia's richest man is throwing his youngest son a lavish wedding in Mumbai.
From Bollywood stars to FIFA bosses to Tony Blair to
God
Boris
dang,
Johnson, the
dog.
Ambani wedding has brought them all together.
It's a
That's
wedding
awesome.
so massive, so mega. Even the warm-up events put the royals to shame.
Thanks to the Ambani family, I am here tonight.
But you know what, guys? While most people see
That's so incredible. I think where I fall on that line, I think it's incredible. I fall on the happy for them. It's like people are saying, we know you're wealthy, there's no need to show off that much. And while I understand where they're coming from and not judging or condemning anybody for thinking that way, because it is an understandable way to think, I also think, I mean, they have so much money. Like, you can't take this money with you when you die. You can't take it with you. I believe in life, like, if you have that kind of wealth, then enjoy it to the fullest. Throw however 100 million, however much this wedding was. Do the wedding because you have it. Like, I'm not mad at you. If I had it, I'd give my son the absolute most incredible wedding on planet Earth if I had that kind of money as well. So I'm on the thing of, if you have it, why not? Can't take it with you. Create memories, and they created one heck of a memory with this wedding.
this event as just another wedding, what they often forget is that this wedding is giving India an insane power advantage, and if replicated by all billionaires, it could boost our exports and save thousands of crores in taxpayers' money. Seems difficult, right? Well, guess what? The British press has actually used their royal wedding as a carefully crafted marketing strategy for decades.
Great Steward of Scotland has finally chosen his bride. She is Lady Diana Spencer, and their engagement is the news Britain has been waiting for.
By 8 o'clock, police estimated 900,000 people were already out in central London.
I, Diana Francis, take thee, Philip, Charles, Arthur, George, to my wedded husband.
And into the afternoon
R.I.P. to Princess Diana, absolute legend.
sunshine there came Prince Charles and the new Princess of Wales, smiling and looking wonderfully relaxed.
Look at these numbers. In 2011, the American Super Bowl was viewed by 111 million people, whereas the royal wedding of Kate Middleton and Prince Harry was viewed by 160 million people. In 2018, while the FIFA World Cup final was viewed by 1.1 billion people,
that's wild.
The royal wedding of Meghan and Prince Harry was viewed by 1.9 billion people. So the
1.9 billion people watch Harry and Meghan? Are you serious? 1.9 billion? My god!
These events aren't just fairy tales, they are billion-dollar marketing campaigns
That's
that have brought
crazy.
immense benefits to the UK economy. And this is because of a strange power that a country acquires, which the Harvard professor Joseph Nye defines as soft power. So the question is, what is this concept of soft power? How is this Ambani wedding in any way associated with boosting Indian exports? How did the royals of UK create a billion-dollar return using these weddings? And most importantly,
I'm intrigued.
what are the lessons that India needs to learn from this iconic marketing strategy? Before we move on, let me thank our partners Odoo for supporting our content. People, Odoo is an all-in-one management software that provides a range of million. If you're someone who's curious about Odoo, this will so whether you are familiar and inspiring, there will be questions about attend this to. So if this sounds exciting, to understand the importance of the Ambani wedding, we first need to understand the meaning of something called soft power and hard power. Hard power is when a country uses its military might, economic might, or political influence to control or benefit from a country. The best example for this is China and Pakistan. In the past few years, if you've seen China first used its debt trap strategy to give unreasonable loans worth $26.5 billion to Pakistan. And then they used their economic might to give contracts to Chinese builders with Chinese workers. And eventually they used their military might to take control of the Gwadar port in Pakistan.
The Pakistan cabinet has transferred the operations responsibility of the Gwadar port from Singapore to China.
China is exploiting developing economies. The PLA Navy is the largest in terms of numbers of surface ships and vessels.
Now, the Chinese policy in Africa is often described as a debt trap. Experts say it is a part of a deliberate strategy to loan unmanageable sums to African countries.
Similarly, US invaded Iraq in 2003 using its military might to exercise control over Iraq. And this is exactly what Russia is doing to Ukraine. This is what you call as hard power. But if you look at soft power, it is a method to influence a country not with military might but with appeal and culture. And the best example of soft power is the rise of South Korea.
The success of the South Korean film Parasite, just named Best Picture at the Oscars, is expected to give another boost to the Korean wave.
I still need to watch Parasite. Squid Game, absolutely incredible. Love Squid Games. But I still need to watch Parasite. I got to check that one out. I've heard such great things about Parasite.
Squid Game.
Squid Game.
Squid Game. A gory dystopian thriller on track to be the most watched streaming sensation ever.
BTS's last concert in Seoul created nearly as much economic gains as the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics in early 2018.
You see, back in the early 2000s, South Korea was largely known for its cars and smartphones. And this is because of Hyundai and Samsung. But today, when I mention South Korea, most people think of K-pop, BTS, South Korean beauty products and Squid Games. And do you realize none of these entities were popular 5 years back? So the question is, suddenly, how did this transition happen and how is it helping South Korea become more powerful? Well, this transformation started in 1994 when President Kim was told that the movie Jurassic Park generated as much revenue as the export of 1.5 million Hyundai cars. I repeat, the movie Jurassic Park generated as much revenue as the export of 1.5 million Hyundai cars. And the reason why Jurassic Park did so well all across the world was because they had a very strong foundation of the American movie industry's distribution as well as the American cultural influence all across the world. And that is when the government of South Korea realized that the exporting of culture and influence is very, very important. And the best part is you don't need an army budget or an expensive factory to have this cultural influence over other countries. So the South Korean government introduced special policies to support export-focused cultural industries. For example, they expanded their budget for cultural industry from $14 million in 1998 to $84 million in 2001. And they increased subsidies for several cultural startups across the country. So soon enough, South Korea started exporting content to the world in the form of music, drama series and movies. And this is where we saw the rise of K-pop drama and the world-famous music band which we all know today as BTS. And with the rise of these content pieces that...
And now freaking Blackpink is absolutely humongous. Are they South Korea too?
hit the right chord with the audience, 4 crazy things happened for South Korea. Number 1, the South Korean drama and movies fascinated the people around the world so much that tourism to South Korea started spiking. If you see this chart, the arrivals of tourists in South Korea shot up from 8.8 million in 2010 to 17.5 million in 2019. This resulted into billions of dollars of economic output for South Korea. Number 2, South Korean exports began to rise by billions of dollars. In fact, if you see this chart, the South Korean skincare cosmetic exports has exploded from $320 million in 2011 to $3.82 billion in 2023.
Korea's outbound shipments of cosmetics reached 2.3 billion US dollars in Q1 this year, which is a surge by almost 22% from the same quarter last year, as well as the year before when the figure stood at $1.9 billion.
K-entertainment as well has played a key role in popularizing Korean culture around the world.
The demand for Korean beauty products, or K-beauty, continues to rise.
And the reason why it shot up so much is because the K-pop movies and series have fascinated people with their beautiful skin. And when you see the macro picture, it's even crazier. The boy band BTS alone has generated $3.67 billion for the South Korean economy, and it has resulted into a job creation for 8,000 people. This is the combined impact of BTS alone on exports, consumption and tourism. Similarly, Netflix...
Bro, BTS alone, that's crazy. Generated over $3 billion. Created 8,000 jobs. My heavens.
Is now planning to invest $2.5 billion into just South Korean projects.
Oh,
and
wow.
the global K-pop beauty market is projected to be worth $18.32 billion by 2030. And last and most importantly, while countries like India are worried about brain drain, South Korea is witnessing brain gain, whereby people from all around the world are coming to South Korea to study. If you don't believe me, look at this chart. If you look at the number of people appearing for a TOPIK, which is like their version of TOEFL, you will see that the number of people taking the test has increased from 106,000 in 2010 to 375,000 in 2019. So while we are losing the smartest people in the country to brain drain, South Korea is able to attract talent which first spends money on education, gets a job and then pays taxes to the South Korean economy. This is how South Korea has used its soft power to extract $1 billion output without military might and without an economic might. They have done that merely by exporting culture and appeal all across the world.
Jesus.
This is what you call as soft power. Now the question over here is, soft power is practiced by a country, that is fine. But how can soft power be developed with a single wedding? And why do I say that all billionaires in India must celebrate their wedding with the same opulence as that of the Ambanis? Well, that is because, ladies and gentlemen, the royal wedding of UK has actually laid out $1 billion playbook on how to use a wedding to generate $1 billion output for the GDP. And here's where the magical stat that I told you comes into play. So in 2011, while the climax of the American Super Bowl was viewed by 111 million people, the Kate Middleton wedding was watched by 72 million people on YouTube alone and 160 million people in total.
That's
Similarly,
insane.
in 2018, while the final of the FIFA World Cup was viewed by 1.1 billion people, the Meghan Markle wedding was seen by 1.9 billion people.
That's
so practically
insane.
1/3 of the entire world watched the royal wedding of Prince
That's
Harry and
crazy.
Meghan. So now the question is, so what if 1.9 billion people are watching this? How can this generate an economic output for the country? Well, that is because, ladies and gentlemen, just like our influencers set a fashion trend in India, Kate Middleton, Princess Diana and Meghan Markle are the most OG influencers in the world because of the British press. And just like you see hundreds of reels on what Anant is wearing and what Radhika is wearing, the British press obsessively covered every aspect of the royals, because of which they became a sensation all across the world. And every piece of content on them became an instrument of marketing. And this insane amplification gave the royals 3 major superpowers. Number 1. The royals were able to spike the sales of the British products all across the world. And anything and everything that they wore became a fashion sensation, eventually resulting into $1 million sale. For example, when Kate Middleton wore a blue Isa dress on her engagement, in less than 24 hours, the dress was sold out across multiple countries. Not just in UK, but in multiple countries. And look at this chart. After she wore the Russell and Bromley knee-high boots, the sales jumped by 663%. The sales of George Nude hosiery increased by 500%. And 300 people were in the waiting list for a 300-pound black coat, and this was because Kate wore it to a wedding. And in general, whatever the royals wore, the sales of those products shot up by 600 to 700%. This is the first superpower that the royals have, which is their ability to shoot up the popularity of British brands all across the world. At the same time, they can also make foreign brands extremely popular in the UK. This is the reason why the Newsweek says that the Kate effect is worth £1 billion to the UK fashion industry. Secondly, the royals used their soft power in the UK to spread awareness about those issues that were often overlooked in the UK. And this is where the royals' PR came in very handy. Until then, everyone assumed that the royal families are supposed to be absolutely perfect. But in the early 1990s, Princess Diana gave out a series of interviews about her mental health and publicly spoke about her condition of bulimia.
Eating disorders, whether it be anorexia or bulimia, show how an individual can turn the nourishment of the body into a painful attack on themselves. Yes, people are dying from eating disorders, but with help and patient nurturing, people suffering from eating disorders can find a better way of coping with their lives.
Similarly, in the mid-80s, AIDS had terrified the world because of a lack of understanding as well as misinformation.
Acquired immune deficiency syndrome, or AIDS, started as an exclusively gay disease. This depression of the immune system can lead to a rare form of cancer, Kaposi sarcoma, which shows up as those purplish spots. This cancer has a death rate of 80% 2 years after diagnosis. AIDS also causes unusual infections, with death rates of 100% in 2 years.
Princess Diana opened an AIDS unit at London Middlesex Hospital. And while most people isolated AIDS patients with the belief that someone could catch HIV through touch, Princess Diana shook the hand of a man suffering with AIDS without gloves in front of the world media. And this made headlines all across the world, and it revolutionized the facilities for AIDS all across the world.
Today, the hospital reckoned that the princess's visit was worth all the government propaganda put together. She met the staff and the 9 patients and shook hands with them all.
And you know what, guys? Even after her death, her public donations were amounting to more than $100 million. And
Princess Diana, didn't I say, absolute legend, absolute treasure of a human being. One of the greatest princesses, I guess, in my lifetime.
this money was used to support the social causes that Princess Diana stood by. Such was the contribution and legacy of the legendary Princess Diana. And last and most importantly, as the British press amplified the lifestyle of the royals, documentaries were made. The Netflix series Crown, even today, is a massive hit worldwide.
Great
and
series.
all of these
Great
contents
series.
put together, they enhanced the perception of UK to such an extent that today UK attracts tourists from all across the world, and this is what results into top of the mind marketing. And same is the case with UK also. When you see the lifestyle of these people, when you see the pictures being clicked which look absolutely beautiful, almost like a scenery out of a drawing book, automatically you tend to assume that the entire UK is as beautiful as that picture. In this case, if you see the tourism to these royal places, Windsor Castle was the most popular royal estate location in the UK, and it almost recorded 1.1 million paid visitors between April 22 and March 23. Similarly, millions of students flock to UK for education because they believe that the lifestyle in UK is absolutely aspirational, very comforting, and the entire UK looks like a lush green garden. And if you see this number, a staggering figure of 679,970 international students came to the UK in 2022 alone. And just like the students in South Korea, even these students from all across the world flock to the UK. They pay for education and eventually they get a job and contribute to the UK economy with both consumption and taxes. So long story short, because of this aspirational value building, a country can attract both tourists and students from all across the world. Eventually, it could result into $1 billion economic output. And these students, just like in South Korea, they come to UK, they pay for education, and eventually they contribute to the UK economy both with consumption and taxes. This is the benefit of soft power through media publicity. If this is very, very clear to you, let's come to the Ambanis and see why the Ambani should do even more publicity, which could drastically increase India's soft power and goodwill all across the world.
So I completely understand what he's saying, right? The way the royals have done things have helped boost the UK economy tremendously. The things that they wear now, like, right, they're getting sold out. People are in waiting line for them. All they got to do is wear something once, it seems like. And so that kind of publicity is just priceless. It boosts the economy within itself. And so, right, if the UK's done it for so long, now India's throwing this extremely extravagant wedding. But it's not only for just pure extravagance purposes, but, right, that could help boost India's economy because now people are looking, well, what's his wife wearing? What are they wearing? And so that brings more money to the economy, brings more tourism, gets to show you an incredible side of India. It just gets more eyes on India and how India is growing at an incredible pace. But another boost to the economy would be absolutely phenomenal. And if you can do that all by throwing this wedding, that's sensational.
Firstly, the Ambanis are playing a major role in promoting the richness of Indian culture, Indian cuisine and Indian dresses all across the world. And the reason why every billionaire must happily promote our culture is because we already have a very strong Indian cuisine ecosystem all across the world.
My favorite is always the chicken tikka masala.
What's your favorite foreign food to eat on tour?
I like Indian. California has the largest Indian population in the US, which means we get some of the tastiest Indian food there is.
For example, did you know that the national food of England is actually chicken tikka? And back in 2012,
Really?
on a weekly basis, 2.5 million customers would eat at 10,000 restaurants employing 80,000 people.
God.
All of this is just because of Indian food. And today, Indian food alone contributes more than 5 billion pounds to the British economy. And recently when I visited Dubai, I was shocked to see that Indian restaurants like Asha's and Rang have a waiting period of 30 to 50 minutes. And that's not because there are Indians sitting inside. It was because people from all across the world were flocking to have Indian food.
Dang!
And just like Indian food, lehengas are already gaining popularity both in Australia and UK. So when celebrities from all across the world come to India, wear Indian dresses, have Indian food or comment about Indian culture, it is a big boost to the soft power of India. In fact, if you saw the wedding, Isha Ambani chose to wear a Manish Malhotra, Kim Kardashian wore Tarun Tihiliani, and everyone from John Cena to former Prime Minister of UK Tony Blair himself, they all wore an Indian attire. This is
I don't remember what they're called, but these things that Indian men wear, like, they're long, go down like past your knees. I want one of. I think those look so good, and I feel like I would absolutely love to rock one of those. That would be so dope. So yeah, I need to see how much they cost because they're fire.
This is how these celebrities became a walking, talking ambassador of Indian culture. And if you see the adoption of Indian designers in the foreign market, designers like Gaurav Gupta are already being picked by Beyonce and Cardi B. In fact, even at the 2023 Grammys, Cardi B chose a Gaurav Gupta collection and Beyonce featured in a Gaurav Gupta collection during her Renaissance tour. This is the power of endorsing Indian culture through celebrities and getting eyeballs from all across the world. Secondly, while most people only see the opulence and expenditure of the Ambanis, what we often forget is the insane contribution of the Ambanis in terms of promotion of social activity like Annadan and animal welfare. And I, being a regular animal welfare donor myself, I know what is the pathetic state of animals in India and how primitive our animal healthcare system is.
Oh, man.
But during this time, if someone like Anant is pouring in hundreds of crores into building a 3,000-acre Vantara, or when the Tata set up a hospital for animal welfare, it is sending out a very strong message of inspiration for the millionaires and the billionaires of India.
This is Vantara.
Vantara isn't your typical wildlife sanctuary though.
ये वंतारा जो नाम है, ये है जंगल का सितारा.
It is focused on rescue and rehabilitation instead of just conservation.
Vantara has been conceptualized and brought to life under the leadership of Anant Ambani.
My vision is that Vantara in Jamnagar, we would like to be the world's most
advanced wildlife institute.
Similarly, my mother has been insisting on another.
That's going to be absolutely incredible. So it's not that they're just doing these extravagant things for themselves, but they're also giving a very large amount of money to different charities and starting these institutes, a wildlife institute where they're focused on rescuing and rehabilitating and not just conservation. I can't think of the words. But I think that's truly phenomenal.
Annadan for decades, but it's only when the Ambanis did Annadan for 51,000 people and got 50 underprivileged couples married that this norm of social service became a talk of the town. So again, just like the Tatas and Ambanis have published their goodwill in front of the world, if all billionaires and Indian upper class people start publicizing their charity, it will be a matter of utmost benefit for the Indian society, and more importantly, it will be a matter of utmost pride for the Indian culture. And last and most importantly, the Ambani wedding, or for that matter any billionaire's wedding, when presented so well with global celebrities bringing eyeballs to India from all across the world, it sets an aspirational value for India. And you would be shocked to know that even today, in spite of being the 5th largest economy in the world, a large segment of the world still perceives India to be a nation of snake charmers. And if we have to change this, either the government could spend billions or the billionaires could use their special occasions and do it for the government. So if Mukesh Ambani holds Isha's pre-wedding festivities in Udaipur and Akash and Anand's wedding at the Geo World Center in Mumbai, it is a huge marketing boost for the wedding industry of India. In fact, if we stretch it even far and billionaires celebrate their wedding in some undiscovered place in India, it would result into a massive influx of foreign weddings in India. In fact, Italy today makes billions of dollars because foreigners hold their weddings in Italy. And this includes Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma. This is the macro perspective of the
greatest cricket player of all time.
Ambani wedding, the importance of soft power, and the billion-dollar impact of such an activity at the global scale for India. And I just hope that more billionaires do the same and spend billions to market India to the world. And this brings us to the last part of the episode, and that are the business lessons that we need to learn from this case study. Lesson number 1. Soft power is a much easier billion-dollar strategy than hard power. While hard power is often seen as violent, forceful, and repulsive, soft power is seen as acceptable, lucrative, and aspirational. Hard power requires an expenditure of $1 billion, whereas soft power results into a profit of $1 billion. Lesson number 2. India needs to understand that India needs to be marketed. And like I said in my Dubai case study, while marketing has turned Dubai into a tourism sensation in spite of it being built on a desert, here in India, we have everything from mountains to forests to beaches to even the most beautiful desert lands in the world. So if Indian tourism needs to become a multi-billion-dollar industry, we need to spend billions to market India to the world. Either this money comes from the taxpayers or it will come from Mukesh Bhai and friends. Either ways, India needs to be marketed. And lastly, always remember, here in India, a businessman is spending his own money, which is by the way benefiting your country. And while India has been a socialist country which often hates on the rich, it is my humble opinion that unless they are doing something that harms the environment or the reputation of the country, we must respect their space and just mind our own business. Because always remember, when we ourselves pull down our own people, it becomes the perfect instrument for foreign media to degrade the image of our country. This was the story of the great Ambani wedding, the soft power advantage, and the lessons that India needs to learn from the royal wedding of UK. That's all from my side for today, guys. If you learned something valuable, please make sure to the like button in order to make YouTube Baba happy. And for more such insightful business and political case studies, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Now that was truly incredible. I didn't think about it that deep, the Ambani wedding, but I'm so glad I watched this video because it helped me to understand how this can actually boost the economy. Using soft power can boost the economy, and how the wedding not just an extravagant event, but it's also an event to help boost the economy. And that if India starts, the billionaires and millionaires and high class, right, start publishing all the great acts they're doing, all the charity, everything that they do, right, it just makes India look better and better, which is truly phenomenal, because I think the world needs to see how great of a country India is, and not just be portrayed in these movies and in Western media as like slums, as poverty, as any of that. They need to see how incredible this country is. That's all we have for this video. If you enjoyed that, make sure you check out this one next. Also, don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like. See you guys on the next one.